1928, the end of the roaring 20s, the era of the flapper and the Charleston. In golf, it was Bobby Jones. In baseball, it was those Yankees with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. In the movies were Gene Harlow, Clark Gable, Laurel and Hardy, and Harold Lloyd. And this was the year of the first sound motion picture. And at the Indianapolis Speedway, the winner was Louis Meyer at over 99 miles an hour. Here in 1928, after years of painstaking research and development, from these laboratories came a great new motor oil. Gulfpride, a new concept in motor oils destined to be named by the customers who used it the world's finest. For the cars of its time, it was the world's finest motor oil. And down through the years, Gulf's marketing management, research, and refining have kept it so. As new improvements were discovered, as cars and their lubrication needs changed, so did Gulfpride, always maintaining its proud position as the world's finest. 1928, the year Gulfpride was born. It earned its proud name through a revolutionary development, aluminum chloride refining, a process for removing unstable, sludge-producing hydrocarbons from the oil. 1934, a depression year, soup kitchens and bread lines, an age of initials. But the world's attention and affection was captured by the birth of 5 tiny girls, the Dion quintuplets. And behind Dizzy Dean's 30 games, the St. Louis Gas House Gang won the series. Cars lost their boxy look, and designers experimented with streamlining, while Bill Cummins won the Indianapolis race at 104 miles per hour. And at Gulf, 1934 brought a new stride in the development of Gulfpride. The switch to new crude oils perfectly suited to the Alchlor process. 1947, automobile manufacturers brought out their first redesigned post-war cars. The Yankees continued what was getting to be a habit. Joe Louis defeated Joe Walcott. Maury Rose won the Speedway Classic at a speed of 116 miles an hour. And skirts had fallen just about as far as they could go. 1947. Gulfpride was specifically tailored to meet the specialized needs of automotive, aviation, marine, and diesel engines. Another great Gulfpride first. 1951. From Gulf's modern research and development laboratories at Harmerville, Pennsylvania, Gulfpride HD appeared in answer to the needs of the times. This was the world's finest high detergency motor oil, especially formulated by Gulf scientists to keep engines clean of low temperature deposits in stop-and-go service and to reduce engine wear in low temperature operations. 1955. The Salk vaccine was declared safe and effective, and a nation of parents breathed easier. The marvels of Disneyland were opened to the children of the country. Dresses started back up toward the knee, and car sales soared out of sight. 1955. Gulfpride HD Select was introduced. Gulfpride HD Select was developed to meet the lubrication requirements of the new high-performance, high-compression engines. 1958 saw Alaska added as the 49th state. Khrushchev succeeded Bulgaria. A new power emerged in Cuba. The United States launched its first satellite. Skirts made more progress toward the knee. 1958. Improvements in Gulfpride HD Select were announced. New combinations of additives had made it possible to produce an oil that was lighter, clearer, and superior to any heavy-duty, high-detergency oil on the market. It was, in fact, called, clearly, the world's finest. 1960, the year of the U-2 incident. Pittsburgh won the World Series, and John F. Kennedy was elected the 35th President of the United States. 1960, new discoveries, the development of all distillate-based stocks, plus new combinations of additives resulted in significant improvements in Gulfpride motor and permitted the announcement of the new Gulfpride Single G, a single-grade motor oil that performs in all climates, all seasons, without the penalties of high oil consumption, excessive viscosity breakdown in service, and excessive intake valve deposits. These were the failings of early multi-viscosity oils. Gulfpride Single G was not the first multi-viscosity oil to hit the market because Gulf waited to make certain it was the best. It was tested for thousands of hours in the laboratory and driven for hundreds of thousands of test miles on the road. Gulf did not believe in accelerated tests. The result of this care and effort was acclaimed the world's finest motor oil. 1961. Without public fanfare, Gulfpride oils underwent another dramatic improvement, Gulf finishing. This was a brand new concept in the final processing of lubricating oils. Replacing the old method of clay treating oils, Gulf finishing was a new method of treating oil which produced oils that were lower in sulfur content and carbon residue and had greater stability. Gulfpride Single G, splendidly fitted to the exacting needs of a new motoring age. As it has since 1928, as it will continue in the years ahead, as changes in automobile engines are made, Gulfpride will continue to stay ahead, will always be truly the world's finest motor oil.
Oh, darling, it's wonderful.
Yes, it is wonderful. A new car for an anniversary present. Especially in the case of the Andersons, for Bud Anderson is a traveling man. He drives the family car on business, leaving his wife stranded at home. Now all of that is over. She has her own car, and she's delighted. There's only one problem.
Young lady, this is your car, and you're the one who's going to have to take care of it.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. But, Bud, I don't know anything about cars. What am I supposed to do?
Well, here, read this owner's manual when you get a chance. And you better stop by Mac Taylor's tomorrow. You don't have too much gas.
Mwah.
Mac Taylor, successful Gulf dealer, giving a few words of wisdom about driveway selling.
And remember, Ed, we're in the motor oil business too, all the way. And this is the best-selling tool we have, the world's finest motor oil. So when you go around that car and you get to the front, always open the hood.
But, Mr. Taylor, suppose a customer doesn't want the hood open.
Remember this, Ed. When you check under that hood, you're performing a real service for the customer, just like cleaning the windshield. Most of them want it, so don't even ask. Just assume they want you to check the radiator, the battery, the fan belt, and the oil. There are very few that'll tell you not to, and if they're in a real hurry, they'll stop you. Here, watch me. Morning. Fill her up with no knocks?
Give me $1 worth of regular.
Yes, sir, $1's worth of good Gulf. would you pull your hood latch, sir?
Never mind about that. All I want's the gas.
Wouldn't it be a good idea if I checked your oil?
No, this baby never burns oil. But never.
That's how you do it, Mr. Taylor?
Well, Ed, you can't win them all. But maybe that proves a point. You know, most people are really proud of their cars, take good care of them, want you to check under the hood. And they will take your advice if you've got the confidence to give it to them. Every customer wants and expects good service. Sure, they may not have time for it today, but if you offer it to them, they'll remember. And they'll come back when they do want that service. Hey, that's Mrs. Anderson in a brand new car.
You're going to have trouble selling any oil to that car.
Maybe not today, but I'm going to sell her a lot of oil before we're through. Quick, get me one of those warranty folders. Thanks, Ed. Well, Mrs. Anderson,
Hi, Mac.
what have we here? A new addition to the family?
Isn't it wonderful? My husband gave it to me for our anniversary. Now I won't be stuck anymore when he's out of town.
It's a real beauty. I sure hope you'll let us help you keep it that way.
Well, I hope you will. But my owner's manual lists a lot of checks and things that have to be done to protect the warranty. I suppose those have to be done by the car dealer.
Not at all. We can handle that for you, Mrs. Anderson. We have the products, the equipment, and the ability to protect new cars under warranty. Here, you see, we have a Gulf warranty service folder for you to record the services we do on your car. This will be your record of warranty services with the mileages and dates when we perform them. We can handle all the lubrication services that the Pontiac warranty or any other warranty requires. Why don't you let me take complete care of your car for you? I'll make it a special point to remind you to get the car in at least every 60 days. That way we can give it a complete safety car check. Make sure everything's okay. You won't even have to worry about it. And we'll change the oil for you.
Oil change every 60 days? But I think my manual says every 6,000 miles.
Mrs. Anderson, I think if you'll double-check that manual, you'll find it says to change oil every 6,000 miles or 60 days, whichever comes sooner, and even more often under severe driving conditions.
But my husband drives his car hard all the time. Why should I change oil as often as he does?
You may not realize it, but the kind of long-distance driving your husband does is the easiest kind, both on the engine and the oil. Now, the kind of driving you do, short trips mostly just around town, is the most severe, because your engine never really gets warmed up. Believe me, you should change your oil every 60 days, and as often as every 30 days in cold weather. By the way, Mrs. Anderson, be sure to follow your owner's manual. Drive it the way it says during the break-in period. And be sure to come back and let us drain your break-in oil and start you out right with Gulfpride Single G.
Okay, Mac.
Yes, Mac Taylor recognizes the changing times, not as a threat to his business, but as an opportunity to increase his entire business, to sell more tires, more batteries, more accessories, and all the other merchandise he handles, to sell more Gulflex lubrication and safety car check services, tire service, tune-up, all the profit-producing products and services he offers to tie his regular customers closely to him and attract more new customers with bright identification and display. Clean, attractive station appearance, clean restrooms, and all the things that make his station look like a good place to do business. But the key to keeping his present customers and attracting new ones is to give them the kind of service that makes them want to recommend him to their friends and neighbors. And he builds this well-rounded business around the attraction of two major products he handles. The gasolines he sells, which are competitive in price and which satisfy the requirements of all cars on the highway today. And the world's finest motor oils. Gulfpride Motor, the world's finest single viscosity oil. and Gulfpride Single G, the world's finest multi-viscosity oil. For these reasons, Mac maintains plenty of the right stock for his particular location, so he'll never run short. And so he can display Gulfpride motor oils as well as Gulfpride outboard oils wherever a customer might see them, in the Gulflex department, from the driveway, or simply driving by on the street. And he makes sure that his men thoroughly understand the facts about the importance of motor oil and about being in the motor oil business all the way.
A lot of people think that all an oil has to do is lubricate. That's a big part of the job. And with the tight fits and complicated parts in these modern engines, lubricating takes a tough oil. If we could see inside a modern engine.
The modern engine, with its high compression, extremely close tolerances, and high performance, requires an oil that can literally perform miracles. The cams, valve lifters, rocker arms, and valve stem tips are heavily loaded, difficult to lubricate at any speed. Oil must provide a protective film that reduces friction, prevents frictional wear of these and all other working parts. But lubricating consistently and continuously is only one of the miracles the oil must perform. Oil has to help cool the engine, carry the heat of combustion to the cylinder walls where it's carried away by the liquid in the cooling system. Pumped through the crankshaft, it cools the bearings. This is a special kind of miracle when you consider that the modern engine creates enough heat to keep 3 houses warm in 0 weather. Oil has to seal, too, prevent blow-by and loss of power from the combustion chamber. And it must do this under the extreme conditions imposed by modern high-compression engines. Oil has to protect the finely machined engine parts. Corrosive acids, which cause ring, piston, and cylinder wear, are byproducts of a modern engine in normal operation. Oil must guard against these attacks. And oil has to keep the engine clean. It has to keep dirt, metal particles, and products of combustion such as carbon and fuel soot in suspension so they can't form harmful sludge deposits. And it must carry them completely out of the engine at drain time. This is the oil, and these are the miracles it must perform. Lubricate, cool, seal, protect, and clean. These are the miracles that Gulfpride Single G does perform. Plus, handling the need for a light oil in winter and a heavier oil in summer. Gulfpride Single G solves that problem in one all-season oil. As Mac Taylor points out to his men in the motor oil manual, Gulfpride Single G provides instant lubrication for fast starts on the coldest mornings, yet maintains full body strength during grueling, high-speed, long-distance runs in hot weather. It is truly heat-proof and cold-proof. As Mac puts it,
Now that means that in hot weather, Single G is heavy enough, and in cold weather, it's light enough to do the job. Believe me, this is an all-season oil that lubricates, cools, seals, protects, and cleans better than any other oil on the market. And right here in Gulfpride Motor, you've got an oil that stands second to none, except the main difference is that it isn't an all-season oil, but comes in separate SAE grades for our customers who prefer individual grades. Gulfpride Motor is a high-quality premium motor oil with its own special blend. You can recommend Gulfpride Motor for all cars and all types of driving. I guess what I want to say is that we're in the oil business all the way. Every chance you get, sell the oil change. Sell makeup oil. And when you're under the hood, remember the big selling question.
Mr. Edwards, how long have you driven on this oil?
the big selling question. How long have you driven on this oil? Mac and his men know that this single question sells more oil changes than any other words they know, because it covers both time and mileage. And Mac's training of his men shows up in all their sales activities.
You know your oil not only has to lubricate, it has to keep the engine clean, too. And Gulfpride Single G is the oil that does this.
Well, Single G is an all-season oil. Regardless of heat or cold, your engine will always have the right weight motor oil.
You should add a quart to bring it up to full. Keeping your crankcase full is really important, since it only holds 4 quarts.
How long have you driven on this oil?
Yes, Mac knows the oil business, and makes sure his men do, too. But he also makes it a point to know his customers, their driving habits, and their cars. This man's car is a few years old, but the owner's been reading the recent advertising about the extended oil change for this make of car.
They tell me that old business about changing oil all the time is out now. Why should I change?
Mr. Jones, it's true that for newer models, Mercury says you don't have to change oil so often. Frankly, we question the wisdom of that. And even so, Mercury didn't make such a recommendation for your car. And the kind of driving you do, mostly just around town, it's important that you change regularly. Believe me, Mr. Jones, every car should have its oil changed every 60 days, and as often as every 30 days in cold weather.
Joe, I've been wondering, why should I keep on using that expensive oil? My car is 4 years old now. I don't think it needs that high-priced oil anymore.
Well, your car still runs like a top. You've kept it in good shape, and I know you want to keep it that way. You've been using Gulfpride motor, and that's part of keeping it in top condition. Its detergent action keeps your engine clean, checks the formations of rust, deposits, and sludge. It gives you full engine power and keeps your hydraulic valve lifters quiet. I'd say keep it up. Of course, in the long run, the few extra pennies spent on a quality oil can really save you money on car repairs.
Well, you're all set, Mr. Gordon. Lubrication, oil change, filter change. And you see, we gave your car a complete safety car check. Brakes, lights, muffler, battery, tires, the works. Everything's okay. I see you only have 8,227 miles in this car. It's still in warranty.
Sure is.
Well, here's a new service we're offering to help protect your warranty. You can keep your copies of the services we do in this folder. It'll be proof that your car has been serviced regularly. You'll notice that I've signed here certifying that we perform these services on this date and at your present car mileage.
And here's a tough one. A 63 Ford owner. Having read his owner's manual, he resists the frequent oil change. And Mac wisely does not try to push him. However, he does use this as an opportunity to sell the added benefits of Gulfpride Single G.
Mr. Osborne, I realize that Ford recommends a 6,000-mile oil change without qualification. And Ford is the only maker who does, incidentally. But if you really want to run that long on the same oil, Gulfpride Single G is the best possible oil you can use. Frankly, though, we still recommend the more frequent change. Every 2 months at the most. And even going that long, it's important that you use the very best.
Mac, I've done a lot of business with you, and I have no complaints. But it's right here in black and white.
Well, let's look at it this way, Mr. Osborne. If you go 6,000 miles between oil changes, you're going to have to add makeup oil anyway. So how much do you really save? The added protection you'll get from changing every 60 days is well worth the little extra it'll cost you.
Maybe you've got a point there, Mac.
Besides that, coming in every 60 days gives us a chance to give your car a thorough Gulf safety car check. You know, even with a new car, a fan belt can break, or a leak can develop in the brake line. Lots of things can happen. We check all those things, make sure your car's in top shape.
Mac Taylor is in the oil business all the way. He has never seen Harmerville, home of Gulf's modern research and development facilities, of skilled scientists and technicians. He has never seen the exhaustive tests in the laboratory and on the road, which every promising Gulf product undergoes before it is considered perfect enough to be put on the market. He has never visited the vast worldwide oil fields where Gulf oils are drawn from the earth. Nor the giant refineries where selected crude oils are so precisely refined and super finished, and where exactly the right combination of additives are blended in to produce the world's finest motor oils. These far-flung activities Mac Taylor has never seen, but he does know that they exist, and that, as a result, this is the world's finest motor oil, not only for all of his customers, but for him. That there are good business reasons for him and his men to really push Gulfpride Single G. In the first place, it gives him the highest gross profit per gallon of any petroleum product he handles. Since he buys in the 250-gallon bracket, Mac gets an added profit of 6 cents a gallon. So he makes about $1.10 on every gallon of Single G he sells. Then, too, Gulfpride Single G draws traffic to his station. For, just as with the original Gulfpride in 1928, Gulf advertising and the talk of satisfied customers have spread the reputation of the world's finest among car owners. And they realize that the Gulf station is the place to get Gulfpride Single G. It gives him and his salesman a selling story no other brand dealer can match. And through all of this, it gives him the great opportunity to boost sales of all the products and services he offers. Gasoline gallonage climbs. Gulflex lubrication volume goes up. Gulf Safety Car Check Service sales climb. Sales of tires, batteries, accessories, tune-up, all the profitable parts and services he offers grow steadily as he draws more new customers to his station and ties his present customers more closely to him. For Mac Taylor, and for any Gulf dealer who is really in the oil business, Gulfpride Single G, in fact the entire line of Gulfpride oils, offers a great profit opportunity. For this oil is, in fact, the world's finest motor oil.
Taylor's Golf Service. Mac Taylor speaking. Oh, yes, I remember. Well, where are you, Mr. Jenkins? Right. I'll have a man out there right away. And thanks for calling. Hey, Ed.
Yeah, Mr. Taylor?
Remember the fellow was in here a while back, said his car never burned any oil?
I sure do.
Well, he just threw a rod. He's stranded on the boulevard at 23rd Street. Go haul him in, will you?
Right.